Welcome back to Green Bee Explorer. Today I stumbled upon a honey farm. I was on Google Maps and I collect honey, so I'm always on the search for honey. I stumbled upon My Sweetest Honey, and the owner was kind enough to talk about his farm. So Sean, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming.
So Sean, I'm kind of curious. I love honeys, and there's a lot of varieties of flowers and honeys. What do you have here?
So in this part of Florida, we get roughly 3 crops a year. First thing in the spring, the orange trees bloom. It's during this time we like to go out more towards the middle of the state, Arcadia, Lake Placid, Wauchula, areas like this, a little more inland to where the great big groves are. We don't have many groves right here locally. So we go out there early spring and we catch an entire crop of the orange blossom. As that crop comes to an end, immediately thereafter, the palmettos start to bloom. That's this one here. So those crops come back to back, and then all summer long, nothing much will really happen. We get mangrove, palm tree, wildflower, just random things, but it usually don't get bottled because as we had mentioned earlier, that our summer honey can have a high moisture content, which we don't particularly care for. It can run the risk of fermentation, so we generally skip over that.
What is a palmetto?
A palmetto bush is like a palm tree, except just the head of it, you see it's a bush. But if you just imagine your typical cabbage palm without the stump part of it, it just fans, palmetto fronds, palm fronds coming out. Then in the fall we get the wildflower, which more often than not, this comes from the Brazilian pepper tree. We call it wildflower because I don't want to call it Brazilian nor pepper because it is neither Brazilian nor pepper. But it's a local tree that we have that is everywhere. Guaranteed you have local, that you have Brazilian pepper trees in your yard. Almost guaranteed. They're everywhere. And they produce quite a large crop. So these are the 3 main crops that we get in this part of Florida. Every time you change locations, your honey flavor is going to change. If we were to go straight east of here and go across the state, they have the exact same landscaping we do here. We could go 2 hours east, the honey will remain the same. However, if we went 2 hours to the north and we get up to the other side of Gainesville, well, now they don't have many palmettos. They don't have much for Brazilian pepper tree, but they do have gallberry. So just by the landscaping changing like that, you get a different flavor. So so why don't we go ahead and do a sampling if that would be okay?
I would love to. I would greatly appreciate that.
Yes. Here we go. We'll start off with the orange. And the orange, believe it or not, is very flowery and very fruity. It's real smooth. It's got an aromatic, perfumey overtone to it. Very flowery.
That is delicious.
That's definitely orange.
The sweetness is perfect. The orange it's a nice subtle orange. But you know what? This is actually would be really good in just any kind of tea. It's not an overpowering, but oh my gosh, I love it. The orange, the orange is delicious. You get that orange, but it's a very calm, easy honey.
Some people go crazy over that fruitiness to it, and other people don't like it at all. So this next one here is palmetto. Very similar to the orange without that fruitiness. You can lay that there and we'll take care of it later. This is it's very smooth, non-fruity.
The palmetto. Ooh, that is a nice little kick. Oh my gosh. It tastes a bit sweeter, but I love that little kick. Now that's one you'll taste a little bit more in your teas, your coffees. But oh my gosh, it is delicious. That's a possibly good one for baking, but we'll have to see how the wildflower goes. That could be. I'm sorry, I'm still sampling. That's delicious. So good. Okay.
Okay, and next we will try this one that I call the wildflower, but more often than not, it's
that pepper.
It's that local pesky pepper tree that everybody loves to hate.
Okay, right. Okay, the pepper tree.
It's a Brazilian pepper tree. There is a Peruvian pepper tree that not locally here that they make pink peppercorn out of.
Okay.
And it's kind of a cousin of that tree. So this is going to be stronger.
Stronger. Okay. Ooh, it's bold but delicious.
It's the most powerful of the 3 honeys that we get here.
Oh, that is amazing, and it actually sits on the back of my tongue a little bit stronger. Wow, and it lingers a little bit longer too. So, that might.
If
be
you want to give
baby.
something a strong honey flavor, this will cut through it. Like sometimes these two may not have enough horsepower to pull through if you're baking it. Whereas this will pull the richness of the honey right out.
I take that back. This is definitely for baking, for your sweets,
Yes.
Really good topper, actually. But if you want some more subtle for your teas and coffees that don't overpower the taste of the coffee teas, definitely these two. Or if you just want a kick, that's the kick. That is the lip one. I'm sorry. Oh, that's delicious. So good. And then you offer a few different sizes. You have the baby bear. Then you have I think it's a 1 pound.
Yes.
1 pound.
And
then
a 2 pound.
A 2 pound. And then the big giant gallon jug. This will last me a while, but
it's a good doomsday prepper.
I love the doomsday prepper. You need to put that across, the doomsday prepper.
Yes.
Prepper.
Yes.
And then obviously the comb as well, which now comb.
So just to give you an idea, what the comb does is it will add volume to it. Like when you're eating this, I prefer the comb. There's a number of ways. People always ask, how do you eat comb? One of my favorite is a Gouda or a Gorgonzola cheese, a nice pungent cheese with like a brown Brunton cracker, Brenton, a brown Brunton cracker. Another thing is yogurt and granola, because the chewy and the crunchy goes together. Maybe throw on a few blueberries. But what the spun honey is versus this, you can see there is, that's just honey in there. And when we harvest it, we just knock those cappings off. We stick it into a machine that spins it in a circle.
Right.
And then we have this empty wax comb here, and we can take that frame of honey when it's in a wooden frame, set it right back into a hive, and they fill it back up.
Okay.
And so therefore they can just crank, because that's how they do in the wild as well. They will eat the honey out of the comb that they stored, and then when they remake it during the next crop, they just refill those same cells. Well, here, rather than spinning the honey out, we just cut it out, and now you can eat that wax. Some people just spit the wax out when they're done. You can swallow it. It's completely edible. But it adds a lot more depth and volume. It seems to add a little more flavor because it's resting in those, each of those tiny little cells in there. They're completely surrounded by wax. So it definitely adds a little bit of flavor.
Oh, and I personally, I enjoy the combs as well, and I just eat the whole thing. Yeah. I don't spit it out. It takes a little bit more time, but definitely it's delicious.
Don't put it in tea or coffee. I've tried that, and for one, it's kind of a waste, because all it does is it melts the wax, and the wax gets around the rim of your cup, and you're basically just getting liquid honey in your coffee. It's not the proper use of comb. You want to eat this in whole format. You want to dig this out with a spoon, or you want to put this on a green crisp apple. That's very delicious.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what else to say about it. But
exactly. I can almost see at local restaurants, they could definitely use it as a little decor piece for a mixed drink or anything like that. That's something I would do if I owned a restaurant or bar, but definitely.
And I have been to restaurants where they come out with like a hard meat platter, and they've got all the different cheeses and hardened meats and strips of honeycomb, and they did a tremendous job at it.
Right. Oh, that's that. I forgot I've had that before. Yes. And having so I actually saved the honeycomb at the end, and it was just the perfect little topper after enjoying the whole platter. But this is fantastic. So I got to taste everything, but let me give you a close-up of what actually he has available. And I'll give you each one. I love the baby bear. It's adorable. So you get a close-up of the wildflower, palmetto, and then, of course, the orange blossom. And then, if you haven't seen cones, this is what a cone looks like on the inside, and happily I'm going to be able to taste this one as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, let's take a taste now.
Sure. Oh, thank you. And
just dig in anywhere.
Dig in the corner. Okay. Oh my gosh! Now it's really oozing right now. He's holding it down so it doesn't pull away from me. It's oozing. It's starting to slide off, but you can see inside the comb. Hopefully my camera is focusing correctly, but I'm going to take a bite. It's messy, so be careful. Oh, that's delicious. So you'll get almost like a little bit of a bubblegum like chew, but it'll start to break down as you're chewing and everything, and then you can swallow it. So I might have to fast forward this part, trying to chew it down, but it's a really good. I'm making a mess. It's a really good substitute for bubble gum if you want to do that.
I took too big of a bite, that's my problem. But, oh my gosh, the honey is absolutely delicious.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, I did take a big chunk. That's why I'm having a harder time. Sorry, I'm definitely fast forwarding this part.
And sometimes the cone can be a little tough to swallow. Like, quite frequently I spit it, not because it's bad, but just because you got a big ball of wax in your mouth now.
I think that's my situation. I took too big of a bite. If I took a smaller bite, I would be fine.
But that really helps when you mix it with the crackers. You don't get that balled up like that. It really, you can make a full meal out of cheese and crackers and honeycomb.
Right, and you're smearing
Versus
on.
this, it's harder to make a full meal out of it. Here, you definitely can.
Right, exactly. Okay, there we go.
So, Sean, how can I find the honey?
You can go on my website and find a list of retail locations. We do not sell directly to the public. We are working on online sales, and I'm hoping within a couple of months to have that done.
Okay.
But we only sell to the stores.
Because right now we are in Sarasota.
Yes.
So Greater Sarasota, you have your honey is available right
yes,
now.
and about a dozen or so stores.
Okay.
Maybe 2 dozen, depending on how you want to count them, really.
Okay.
One of our greatest stores, I would say, would be Duttweiler's. They have 5 locations. They do the most of our business. They're our largest customer. But then, in addition to them, we have Richards, we have Rhodes Produce, we have Osprey Produce, we have Balkan Natural. The restaurant of Dear Dutchman.
Okay. Ooh, even restaurants. Awesome.
Yes, I'm probably leaving a few out, but these are some of the main ones that you could find. Crowder Brothers Ace Hardware, if you're in the Bradenton area, may be a good place to get it.
Oh, very cool. Okay. And we keep an eye out for that.
Yes.
But I appreciate you giving me this tour, the tastings. I'm bringing some of this honey home. It's amazing. So I'll be making that transaction later. But definitely, if you see this honey in the stores, you have to pick it up. It is delicious, and I thank you so much for this opportunity.
I appreciate you coming.
And this was a lot of fun.
Great,
So,
great.
Please subscribe to Green Bay Explorer, and I will show you more opportunities like this. I do focus on the local businesses, family owned, which Sean is, and try and find those opportunities, because there's a lot of heart in it, and that's what I look for. Is I look for the heart in the work and the passion. So thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you.